Ah, yes, the sounds of the one and only Running Wild with Under Jolly Roger. My name is Top Biscuit, this is Blue Please here on WoW Radio. Now, time for the Imbecile of the Week. Yes, the Imbecile of the Week. It's not the Imbecile of the Millennium. I suppose I could cut the sample together. I have not had any time this week, I'm kidding ye not. I've been that busy. Now, I'm leaving at 10 o'clock tonight. Actually, I'm leaving at 9 o'clock tonight because I've got to grab the bus into my job. I'm then working from 10:30 through to 6:30 and I won't be home before 8. So yeah, I don't have a lot of time to myself, sadly, but no, Pug will go on tomorrow, and I will be there, myself, Gnome-wise, indeed, myself and Gnome-wise, plus one other WoW Radio host, and we have a fellow from inktank.com, the popular gaming geek webcomic, and he also does a podcast called The Llama Report, if I remember correctly, and I'm just trying to remember what his specific name is. What one was it? Yes, he's got a very long name. It's a very professional name. It's like Barry T. Smith. Yes, Barry T. Smith. I like that very much. It's a good name. So yeah, The Llama Report and inktank.com. He will be joining us. He's an avid WoW player. Should be a lot of fun on Pug tomorrow at the usual time of 3 p.m. EST. Now, we have an Imbecile of the Week. So I'm going to make an impromptu sample here. I'm going to press this button and then another button. Imbecile of the... Imbecile of the... Whatever. It'll do the job. Now, Imbecile of the Week this week goes out to the one and only Gully Lad. Yes, I don't know how to actually pronounce his name correctly, but it's Gully Lad. He's actually on my server on Shattered Halls EU. Now, I have a story. Are you sitting comfortably? This is what this is going to turn into now. It's story time with Total Biscuit. It's where I tell you about all of the things that... well, could be hiding under your bed and probably are, including dust mites, which I must say are far more horrific than any crazy monster you want to come up with. I was terrified of dust mites. They're invisible. And have you seen those things? They're horrible. Look at them. Ugh. God, dust mites. And apparently they can also give you asthma or kill you, which is like, that's terrifying to hear as a 6-year-old. You know? Screw's like, there is a dragon under the bed, there is a demon under the bed, there is a chthonic horror under the bed, there is a Shub-Niggurath under the bed. Doesn't matter, because there's dust mites in the bed. Dust mites. Terrifying. Anyway, let's get on with it. Now, Gully Lad. This fellow has been stepping on my toes as regards to my market. I've actually been making money, not with enchanting, I must add. I've actually been using my professions to finance enchanting. I haven't been making any money with enchanting at all. No one has. But I've been using it to finance my enchanting leveling up. I've been making money with tailoring, using a variety of interesting methods. None of which I'm going to tell you. Well, one of which I'm going to tell you. The rest of which I'm not going to tell you. Especially if anyone's listening from Shattered Halls. Oh, no. Oh, no, you stay away. I need the money. Now, this is how it's been working out. One of the things I've been selling is Azure Spell Thread. I bought up Eternal Fires in bulk, and bought up the Netherweb in bulk and started making this thread, and I was releasing it a little bit at a time onto the market, keeping the market at a roughly about 45 to 50 gold price, which was a reasonable profit. And as far as I'm concerned, if you want that kind of level of enchant on your legs, you should certainly be willing to pay 50 gold for it, because I can instead give you 18 spirit on bracers for, let's see, 10 times the price! Thanks, Blizzard! You're wonderful! I have this. I've been wielding this for the last 15 minutes. This is a drumstick, and I have a sudden urge to jam it into my eye socket. And I will if I get another failed level up in enchanting. Anyway, so this Gully Lad fellow went and crashed the market one day. We're all selling. A few of us have been selling, and we keep it around the same price. You know, it varies a little bit, but our price is reasonable. For that kind of enchant, it's a bargain. It's an absolute bargain. So we're all making money and we're all pretty happy about it. So along comes Gully Lad and crashes the market by about 25 gold. I'm like, well, what the hell are you doing? So, of course, needless to say, I buy his stuff, relist it and sell it for 3 times the price. And I send him an email saying, look, okay. Not an email, but the in-game. You know what I mean. I say to him, alright, look, I understand that you think maybe this is worth this much and maybe you want to help people out, but actually all you do is hurt people. The enchant is worth this much. You know, the spell thread is worth this much. Indeed, it's worth more. There should be no reason to crash it down to that level. Tell you what, you know, I will not actively undercut your stuff as long as you list around the same price as me. You know, let's make a tradesman's deal. Not so much of a cartel as such, just making sure the price stays at a fair rate. Because, you don't crash the price like that because that's way too close to the material cost. That wouldn't happen in real life with businessmen. No, it's not a cartel if it's sensible. It's not like we're making vast profits out of it, we're just making a living. So, needless to say, he decides not to do that. And then he gets in an argument with me on Trade Chat, claiming that I'm a whiner and I've been whining about this and blah, 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 and it's like he sets the market price. Like, no, you actually don't set the market price. So he lists a bunch of stuff up. Of course, I buy them, relist them, twice the price, sell them again, and he gets into a price war with me in the Trade Chat. And he's like, selling Spellthread, 20 gold. So I'm like, selling Spellthread, 15 gold. So he's like, selling Spellthread, 14 gold. So I'm like, selling Spellthread, 3 pieces of Dalaran Swiss, and a beer. You know what the crazy thing is? None of us sold any Spellthread that day. Why? Well, it's pretty obvious. Devaluation. It devalues the item in the eyes of people. I couldn't sell a single piece of Spellthread for 3 pieces of Dalaran Swiss. Or is it Dalaran Sharp or Alterac Sharp? 3 pieces of cheese and a beer. I couldn't sell it. Yet I could sell it for 45 gold each. Indeed, I could sell 5 a day bare minimum. Probably more. So are you telling me that devaluation's a good thing? No, it's not! I eventually ended up giving away 2 of them because I offered Spellthread, selling if you slap Gully Lad around the face. And even then I got people suspicious of it. It's like, show me the Spellthread. Show you the Spellthread? You've got to be joking. That's what devaluation does. In the minds of people, it devalues. Shock horror. Market forces are, at least at the moment, a lot about psychology and about the way people think. It's not just about price. If people perceive that something is worth naught, they will think that that's what it is, and they won't be willing to buy it for anything more. It's just ridiculous. I can't imagine why this guy... I mean, every now and again he pops up and puts a bunch off for 15 gold, and I buy them and sell them for 3 times the price. He said, why don't you buy me out? So, well, why don't you go to hell? Why don't I just ruin you? Because I will. If you undercut by too much, all that's going to happen is that someone who's got a lot more gold than you, i.e. me, is going to buy up all your stuff and relist at a time when you are asleep. And by the time you get back in the morning, the stuff that you'd sold for a loss or a minor profit has been sold again by me for twice the price. I mean, I was monitoring the guy, finding out when he comes online, when his bedtime is. Evidently, he's from Europe somewhere because of his name. So he's a couple of hours ahead of me, which means he has to go to bed earlier than I do. And I'm on night shift. I can outsell you. Trust me, it's not worth it. Don't try. And I don't know why it is that people keep crashing the market anyway. Do you not like money? Do you think it's kindness? We are not charitable organizations. We are not amateurs. We are professionals in terms of professions. We are not selling amateur gear, we are selling profession gear. We don't crash the market, we just do not do it. It's the sad thing with the auction house. You see that there's very few parallels between the auction house and real-life auction places like eBay, because, of course, things on the auction house are in infinite amounts and can be crafted with very little effort. I can't build 10 MP3 players in 10 seconds, I'm sorry, but I can build 10 of these robes. And the skilling up makes it even worse. People just selling for whatever they can. They don't understand the market price. As far as I'm concerned, at least in my opinion, there should be plenty of stuff available for any profession that is craftable that does not give you skill ups at all. And indeed, that stuff should take a lesson from what they've done with jewel crafting. There is a chance that you will proc a perfect gem. Just like alchemy, you can proc several flasks. Well, you know what? Why can't I make an excellent robe? If they can make a perfect gem, why can't I make an excellent robe? Apply it across the board. Seriously. And make all of the stuff that's capable of doing that incapable of leveling you up. Because then, the only reason to make it is to sell for a profit. It's the psychology of it. Some people are okay with saying, well, I might make some of it back. I'm not alright with that. I like crafting and I like making money via professions. I think it's the most fun way to make money in the game. It's fantastic. But it's a system that's not very good. We're working with what we've got here. There's plenty of games that have got it better. EverQuest 2's crafting is better. Final Fantasy 11's crafting is better. Warhammer's crafting is better. There's a lot of improvements that could be made. And one of the reasons that the crafting, of course, is better is because, well, hey, you don't get the ability to make an awful lot of money while you're skilling up, as it were, because your stuff's worthless. All it's used for is vendor fodder or DEing or selling to very unfortunate people that just don't have good enough gear to justify it. And, I mean, what really bothers me, I think more so than anything else, what really gets my goat is the fact that some of the stuff that we make, the greens, that you make as an enchanter, or, well, not so much as an enchanter, sorry, as a tailor, as a blacksmith, they're worse than questing greens. Should that ever be so? No, it shouldn't. It should never be so. The scale should go as this. At the bottom rung, you've got your questing greens. They're the bare minimum basics, yeah? Everyone can get them. They'll get you through, if need be. Tier higher than that, the crafting stuff, the stuff that requires a bit of effort and some material cost. Not much, but it requires material cost. Should be better. Step up from that. 5-man instance gear. Step up from that. 5-man heroic gear. Step up from that. 10-man. Step up from that. 25-man. That makes sense. Of course, there are a few exceptions with blues and epics. That's just the way it goes. But generally speaking, that should be it. There should never, ever be a situation whereby it's preferable to get questing greens than it is to get crafted greens. You know, it just says to me that the leveling up process is in itself all that those things are required for. That's sad. If 95% of the recipes in your book are useless, then 95% of your profession is useless. The stuff that is useful, because there's so little of it, gets crashed by people like this idiot, because like, hey, what can I make profit with on tailoring? I'm currently a 435 tailor. What can I make profit on? There are 2 items I can make profit on. There are 3 items I can make profit on. Spell thread, and lower spell thread. Why can I make profit on lower spell thread? Well, let me tell you. No, actually, I won't tell you. It's a secret. If you can't figure it out yourself, then, well, you don't deserve to sell. How many recipes have I got in my book right now? Hundreds? How many are we eventually going to have? Thousands? How many of them are going to be useful? 1%? 2%? Take your pick. Why should we make this stuff? Why should we mill it? Why should we be mass production factories and get this stuff which doesn't sell for a profit? It's pointless. Why do you think people keep on taking up gathering professions? It's like it's not worth the effort, and they'd be right. It's getting worse and worse all the time. Gathering professions are pure profit. And at the end of the day, what are the benefits of having a profession? Well, they've tried to make benefits, you know. It's like last expansion, tailoring was a benefit in and of itself because of the craftable set. The craftable set now is nowhere near as good. And heck, it's BOE. You don't need this stuff. You say enchanting's worth it because it can get plus 19 spell power on rings? No, that is not worth 20,000 gold. For 20,000 gold, I could buy a better ring. I could just have 2 gathering professions be drowning in money, riding a bloody mammoth around the place. Epic flyer, 7 different kinds of epic flyer. Have all the mats I could ever possibly need for my raiding. Have all the good craftable gear, all 1 or 2 pieces of it. Buy it, no problem there. Anything they bring out, like the Signet of the Kirin Tour and stuff like that, all this expensive money things, I can have that. Can have that too. Because, hey, I'm a gatherer. And with gatherers, I don't have to deal with idiots like this. Gatherers don't crash the price. Material that's gathered with 0 expense is always going to profit. It stays around the same. Whereas crafted items, oh no, they're all over the place. It's because people put them up at the value they think they're worth rather than the value they are worth. Blinking stupid. Anyone that does that, anyone that does that actively, I would say to you, stop it. Have a think about it. Have a think about what you're actually doing. I understand the situation. I really do. Crafting is broken. Any crafting profession versus a gathering profession, broken as all hell. Needs way more work, needs an awful lot more stuff that you can use yourself to enhance yourself, as well as a whole bunch of things that could proc excellent versions of them, stuff that doesn't give skill ups that are sold for profit. Otherwise, it's pointless. Otherwise, there is no reason to have it. It's a minor upgrade and you pay through your nose for it. Is it really gonna matter in the long term? No. Is plus 19 on rings really gonna make much of a difference to my DPS? No. Is it worth 20,000 gold? No! That's the short answer. Long answer, no! I'll be right back after this. Enjoy.